What up YouTube, I'm back with another episode review of Attack on Titan the final season. It's the 10th episode of the season, so there's only 6 episodes left for the series, which is crazy because it seems like there's so much more that we need to learn about what's going on and everything like that. So I don't know how they will end this series with only 6 episodes left, but we'll see, man, because like I said, it seems like there's so much more that we need to know. There was so much info dump in this week's episode, kind of like what they did in last week's episode, but times 10. They're trying to fill in the gaps of this 4-year time skip, and I think they're doing a great job doing so. One of the first scenes of this episode was a discussion between Eren and Anji, and something that Anji said was really interesting. She said that Eren is sacrificing Historia for a reason, so I don't know exactly what she was talking about. We know what's happening with Historia, we learned about it in this week's episode, but I'm not sure exactly what she's talking about, so hopefully we'll know more about that, later in this series before it ends. So after that, we went into a 2-year flashback. In last week's episode, it was a 3-year flashback, so we're getting closer and closer to the present. They're doing a thing where they're going back and forth from the past and the present, and I think they're doing a great job of doing so. But if you don't pay attention, you might get lost, about if you're in the present or the past. But I really like the way that they're doing, this flashback plus this present thing in the anime. One of the things that we learn in this flashback is that during these 4 years, Paradis Island were trying to make allies with other nations to help them protect themselves from attacks from other nations like Mali, so with the help of Yelena, they were able to contact other nations. One of those countries that they were able to contact was Hizuru, where Kiyomi Azumabito is from. We've seen her before. She was in Marley talking to Willy, and she was the one that saved Udo because he spilled some wine on her kimono, so we've seen her before. She's one of the leaders of Hizuru, so that's pretty interesting. But one of the most interesting part of the episode to me was when it was revealed that the Azumabitos are descendant of the Shogun from their countries, and that the son of the Shogun was a friend of King Fritz, so the son was able to just go to Paradis Island and talk to the king like that, so I thought it was pretty interesting because I thought that Paradis Island was kind of in isolation for a while, but it seems like they were able to just go and meet people from Paradis, so I really like that part of the episode a lot. So yeah, just learning that Hizuru was once an ally of Paradis Island in the past was really cool, but the most interesting part of the episode by far, in my opinion, is learning that Mikasa is a descendant of the nation's ruler, so she's a descendant of that shogun, and one of her last name is Azumabito, so we've only known the last name of her father, Akaman, but now we know the last name of her mother's, Azumabito, so learning that Mikasa is actually royalty is pretty cool, it's awesome, man. I like Mikasa, she's my favorite character of the show, so learning that she's royalty was pretty damn cool. Mikasa actually had the tattoo of the clan's logo on her wrist, it was passed down from her mother to her, and she's supposed to pass it down to her child in the future, so she only showed that tattoo to Eren. Obviously she didn't show it to anybody else because her mother told her not to do it, so all of that was really cool to learn, man. Anyways, one of the conditions to get the help of Hizuru in the fight against Marley was for Paradis to give some of their resources to Hizuru because they haven't been the same since the Great Titan War. They need some resources, and one of the resources that Paradis has is the Iceberg Stone. It's the fuel that they use for their 3D maneuver gear, and that's one of the things that Hizuru wants. The only reason that they're really helping Paradis right now is because of their resources. They don't really care about Paradis. They're not doing this out of the goodness of their heart. They're really doing this for the resources. So I thought that was pretty important to point out because in our world right now, that's what countries do. They're not really helping for the goodness of their heart. They're only helping to get some more resources than any other countries. Then we got back to the Anji and Eren conversation. It was pretty important because at the beginning of the episode, Anji said to Eren that he was sacrificing Historia, and it seems like it made him pretty mad, you know. He was being aggressive, he was going at Anji's throat, you know, so he was being aggressive. It isn't something new, we've seen him do that, you know, since the beginning of the series, but there's something different about Eren, you know. It seems like there's a lot on his mind, there's a lot on his back, you know, that he needs to do. So I really like that conversation. We even saw, it seems like Eren was going to transform into a Titan at some point, you know, so I don't know if he can just control it like that, but it seems like he doesn't need a scratch or anything to transform. So yeah, man, that discussion was awesome. Just seeing how Eren is right now in the present is crazy. He's big as hell, you know, he's tall, a lot taller than Anji right now. So yeah, man, there's something different about Eren, and hopefully we'll know why. Because the flashback that we've seen so far, he isn't like that, you know. He's different than he is in the first 3 seasons, but he's different than he is in the present. So I'm really wondering what happened so that he changed like that, you know. And I think they're doing a great job of just showing a little bit why he's changing in the flashbacks and why he's becoming that. But I can't wait to see more of that, you know, because I think it's really important. The other condition that we learned about later in the episode is that someone would have to inherit the Beast Titan from Zeke at some point, and that someone should have royal blood, I think. And the only person that has royal blood inside of the walls in Paradis Island is Historia. So she said that she would become the Beast Titan at some point. Eren wasn't happy about that because she would only have 13 years to live after that, you know. So Eren really doesn't want any of his friends to become a Titan except Armin, so that he could save his life, you know. So I thought that discussion was pretty cool. Anyhow, let's talk about Historia, because she was really an important part of this week's episode, and she's been an important part of this series as a whole, you know, but we hadn't seen her really in this final season of Attack on Titan, so it was great to see her and to learn what happened in these 4 years with her, you know. My favorite moment and my favorite scene of this episode was when Historia learned that Mikasa had royal blood inside of her, you know, because she was really happy that she wasn't the only one with royal blood inside of her anymore in Paradis. Even so, they're not from the same place, they still have something in common, you know. They have kind of the same pressure on them to preserve their line or something like that, you know. And I thought it was a pretty cool moment because I don't think we've seen Historia that happy in the series, or maybe the last time that we saw her that happy was at the end of the first arc of the 3rd season, you know. And I thought that scene was pretty relevant because what happened later in the episode is that we saw Historia in the present. She was pregnant, and the reason that she needed to be pregnant was to preserve her line, you know, to preserve the Reese line. And it didn't seem like she was that happy. The look in her eyes was pretty like dead. It reminded me a little bit of what Eren looks like right now, you know. So I thought it was a pretty relevant scene compared to what we saw, you know, later in the episode with Historia. Like I said, I think the reason she became pregnant is to preserve the lineage of her royal blood, but maybe I'm wrong. I think one of the reasons is to not become the Beast Titan, and the only reason that she would do that is to appease Eren, you know, because Eren doesn't want her to become a Titan. He doesn't want his friends to become a Titan. So maybe the reason why Anji said that he sacrificed Historia is because Eren asked her to become pregnant, so that wouldn't happen, you know. So yeah, man, she doesn't look happy at all. Even when she went and asked, you know, a guy that she knew in her childhood to mate with her, I thought she didn't look happy, you know. She looked kind of dead in a way, you know. So yeah, man, it's pretty sad for Historia. Obviously she's gonna give birth, she's gonna give life, and that's a beautiful thing, but it doesn't seem like it's something that she wanted to do. By the way, Historia always looked beautiful, but right now in the present, after the 4 years time skip, she looks even more beautiful, you know. She looks more mature, she looks older, she has longer hair, you know. So I really like her character design a lot, but like I said, man, she looks sad, and I hope that she'll get, you know, a better ending for herself, you know, because she's a great character. I really like her character a lot. And yeah, man, hopefully we'll get more of Historia because she's been important in this story, and I'm guessing that we'll get more of her because she's pregnant and because she's gonna give birth to another one with royal blood. So we'll see, man, but it's pretty sad. It's really sad to me. The last two subjects that I want to talk about in this week's review was two discussions that happened at the end of the episode. The first one was between Eren, Connie, Sasha, Mikasa, Jean, and Armin. Obviously Sasha is dead right now, so it doesn't really matter to her, but it was still great to see her in a scene because she's one of the best characters and one of the main characters, you know, so it's great to see her once again in a flashback. But the discussion was about who was going to inherit Eren's Titan abilities, you know, because he only had 5 years left to live in the flashback. So right now he'd have only 3 years to live, you know. So they all made their point about who was going to inherit the Titan, but Eren said that he didn't want any of them to inherit it because they want them to have long lives, you know. Obviously Armin already has the Colossal Titan, so he's gonna die in a few years too. But I thought it was pretty cool to see how Eren cared about his friends, you know. They're the people that he cared about the most, you know, so he didn't want them to become Titans and then die in 13 years. So it was a really great discussion. Even at the end of the discussion, you know, they all had red faces because it was kind of embarrassing what Eren said, and you know, it was just cool seeing their friendship, you know. It's something that we didn't get to see in this last season of Attack on Titan because of everything that happened. We saw Sasha died and they're all blaming kind of Eren because of that, you know, so it was kind of cool to see their friendship and what it was at the time. The second discussion was also about Eren, but it was much different than it was 2 years ago because Eren is a much different man than he was 2 years ago. We've already seen what he's done in Marley. He attacked Marley. He put Mikasa, Armin, Sasha, Connie, and Jean in a difficult position. You know, he put Parody in a difficult position. He put them in danger, you know, so they were discussing what they would have to do to Eren because it seems like he has sided with his half-brother Zeke, and you know, that's a problem for them. They don't know if they can trust him. So I really liked that discussion a lot. We saw how Connie was mad about Eren because when Eren heard that Sasha was dead, he laughed, you know, and Jean even said that usually he doesn't put none of them in danger, so it doesn't seem like Eren actually cares about them anymore. So that discussion was really cool. Connie said that at some point maybe they'll have to kill him, and then Armin proposed that maybe at some point they'll have to take the Titan power away from Eren, you know. Obviously Mikasa wasn't about that. She said that they wouldn't let them do that. But yeah, man, that discussion was heavy because like I said, Eren is different and it seems like he doesn't care as much about them as he used to, you know. So it's going to be interesting to see the conflict between them and Eren, you know, in the future of the series and at the end of the series, because it's really interesting. One of the things that Mikasa said is that it seems like Eren cares too much, and that's the reason why he's doing all of that. So yeah, man, it was a great episode. I like all of the information that we got, the discussions that we got. It was amazing. Let me know what you thought about this week's episode in the comments down below. Let me know what you think is going to happen next. I do Attack on Titan, the final season reviews every Sunday, so subscribe for that. But I also do other anime related things like Black Clover reviews on Tuesdays, Dr. Stone and Promised Neverland reviews on Thursdays, Jujutsu Kaisen reviews on Fridays, One Piece reviews on Saturdays, and Boruto Naruto Next Generation reviews on Sunday morning. So stay tuned for all of that. Like, comment, subscribe. It would help my channel a lot. And follow me at Anime Specialist on Twitter and Instagram, man. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Anime Specialist out. Peace.